Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. All right.
Cool.
Welcome to this podcast is Uncalled For.
What's uncalled for about it?
Well, you can't tell anybody this.
I'm listening.
Oh my God, what are you doing?
Don't be ashamed to be a supporter of Barack Obama for the next 2 years or for the rest of your lives, because you should be proud of what you've done.
I worship Cthulhu just for the free beer.
But you didn't even give a chance for a wild card spot.
Well, the name of this podcast is Stuff Uncalled For?
This podcast is uncalled for.
Podcast, all right.
Yeah, that was the most ridiculous ending to that game that I've ever seen.
Oh my gosh, I gotta hurry up. Oh my gosh, I gotta hurry up. Oh my gosh, I gotta hurry up.
We're looking at each other in the eye. We're not going to say anything derogatory to the other person. And, of course, neither of us is drunk.
Another thing that differentiates Mormonism from Catholicism is I don't hear Pope Francis saying that he's a prophet, seer, and revelator.
See, this is a disgrace.
Hey, we're getting somewhere.
And now, your host for this podcast, Mike Chernefsky.
Fuji!
Welcome to the podcast. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays. So today's interview we had to do over the phone because my guest is in Springfield, Missouri, which is a good 2 hours from where I am in Kansas City. To facilitate with our phone call needs, we used Block Talk Radio, which is a great service. They'll sound like we're on the phone, and we are, but in terms of recording phone calls, I can't think of anything better, especially on such a small budget. So today's guest is a high school friend of mine. We first met in Coach Campbell's geometry class, and we both participated in Navy Junior ROTC, and we both played on the football team as wide receivers and defense backs. In a way, today's guest is fortunate to be with us. In '98, he suffered a aneurysm and was comatose for all of 2 weeks. And he had all of us coming in. In fact, I went every single day to the hospital just to see how he was doing and everything. I'm only bringing that up because my guest brought that up in today's interview. Since then, he's tapped more into his creative side. Very blessed to have Jered Feldman on today's podcast.
Blog Talk Radio.
Hey, Jered, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks a lot, Mike.
All right. So our audience is aware you're one of my older friends from high school. And I seem to recall, three things comes to mind with our shared high school experience. ROTC, football, and Coach Campbell's geometry class.
That's right.
Yeah. So which one of those do you want to tackle first? Pardon the pun.
Let's do ROTC.
All right. Yeah. ROTC. Yeah, we're. For those who are not familiar, we had a Navy Junior ROTC program at our high school,
right.
And I was in all 4 years. I think you were in at least 1 or 2. I think, right?
I was in there for 3.5. Because I started my freshman year also, yeah. And I bailed I billed at in January of my senior year.
Wow. And I stuck with it all 4 years and finished all 4 years, got a bunch of awards. In fact, I still have all the ribbons and everything just framed. So,
Nice.
And, yeah. And believe it or not, I was briefly off 2 weeks in the Navy after high school. In fact, that whole senior year, I was a Navy Depper.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
nice.
that was a fun experience. Having to go in the recruiter's office once a month and everything. In fact, I actually took the ASVAB during my junior year, which would have been your senior year. And,
yeah.
And I took it with the Army, and they were kind of not happy that I decided to go Navy.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I'm going to go Army, blah blah blah. Yeah. So, but that was an interesting experience. Were you able to go on any of the ROTC trips since we're on this subject? Or?
Yes, you bet I did. Freshman year, went to Pensacola and Fort Lauderdale, the 2 trips all in 1 year.
Oh, sweet.
And like ROTC has so many memories. When I first was there, I had hair.
Yeah.
And during that time, I guess the first trip I went on, I had hair, and I was a big Michigan fan, and they're in the Final Four, and Sergeant Major, he was such a supporter of me listening to the game. We listened to the game on the van ride, and just going crazy. Yep. And then, of course, when we got back from the trip, they played in the final. They played the championship game, and they lost. I lost the bets, and then I shaved my head, which worked better for me being in ROTC.
Yeah.
Because then, oh my gosh, because that look of, that's a military cut, short hair or almost nothing, and then bald for me. And then what happened? Of course, my girlfriend that I had at the time, we met. We met at one of I think it was the Pensacola trip. And when we got back, she was like, "I think you're so cute, and we should go out." So we started dating. And then, in April, when Michigan lost the championship game, she broke up with me because she said I was ugly because I was bald.
See, I never knew this. So, that's cool things about doing this podcast. Yeah. In my case, I did go on the RTC trip sophomore year to Norfolk, Virginia, and we took a 2-day side trip up to D.C.
Nice.
And, so we got to tour all sorts of ships and all sorts of military bases. There were, for those not familiar with the Norfolk, Virginia Beach area, lots of naval bases around there.
Oh, so that's like on the coast of the ocean?
Yeah, it's like right at the coast. In fact, where it's around the coast near the North Carolina border, to give you some idea where it is. Yeah, very nice and everything. My first experience with veal, actually, the Oceana base in Virginia Beach served veal parmesan one day, and it was all right. So, but of course, the kicker for me was actually going to D.C., touring the Capitol, driving past the White House, past the Pentagon, touring Arlington Cemetery, lunch at the Union Station, and then the next day they let us loose on the mall. And I don't think I have this photo anymore, but I managed a photo of the Hope Diamond in the Natural History Museum. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah. So fun times.
So
All
I
right.
was talking about how that first trip, or was it the first? Yeah, I think the second trip. That's where I met my first girlfriend of high school, and then she broke up with me because I shaved my head, and I met her through ROTC. She was one of the piss-ons, the peons, PO1, PO2. Yeah, that's what I called them. And then because she broke up with me, I was like, fine, I'm never gonna have a girlfriend ever again. And so I went my whole sophomore year with ROTC and no girlfriend. Junior year, ROTC, no girlfriend. And then my senior year, ROTC, the whole first semester, no girlfriend, but I was interested in this girl. And then we started dating right at Christmas time. And she asked me, she goes, so you're in ROTC, right? And I was like, yeah. And she goes, yeah, well, you know, like, and she was only a freshman. I was a senior. And she was like, so what are you going to do after high school, after you graduate this year? And I go, well, I'm going to go into the Marines. And I actually wanted to go into the Navy. I wanted to be a SEAL. And she goes, so you're going to join the military? Well, but if we're going to get married, you know, you'll be away all the time, and we won't even get to know each other. And I was like, oh, so what do you want me to do? She was like, well, drop out of ROTC. I was like, what? She goes, yeah, you could just go to the junior college here for 2 years, and then, you know, by the time you graduate, I'll be a senior in high school, and then we can go to college after that, and we can get married. And I was like, oh, that makes a lot more sense. No, that doesn't. But at that time, I thought I did. And so, sure enough, I went up to Sergeant Major, and I told him, hey, Sergeant Major, I'm going to have to drop ROTC. And he was like, what did you just say? I was like, I'm going to.
That sounds like Sergeant Major.
Exactly. And I was like, I'm going to have to drop ROTC. He was like, you met a girl, didn't you? I was like, oh, how did you know? He was like, oh, because it always happens. It always happens. That's the only stupid reason that you would ever drop the ROTC, because of a stupid girl. I was like, yeah, but it's my first girlfriend. I didn't have a girlfriend the entire time I was in ROTC. He goes, well, it makes sense, I guess. Well, so, wow, I can't believe you're going to do this. But he never, he never treated me bad after that. It was still a lot of honor. And, so I dropped, and then starting in January, I started my new relationship with this new girl, and then, of course, we know about 2.5 years later, the whole coma stuff happened, and I was with that girlfriend. Yeah. But
yes,
still
I remember that.
Yeah. Sergeant Major came to the hospital a lot, too.
Okay, good.
Yeah. But, those are the memories of ROTC. Drill team, I was in that. Were you in drill team?
No, I didn't do drill team. I was too lazy.
Having to wake up that early just to go do rifle stuff. Yeah.
I'm still that lazy. I don't like getting up that early. Yeah. All right. Yeah, that was quite the experience. You're being comatose for that long. Yeah, I was at the hospital every single day checking up on you, and I got to know your dad pretty well during that time.
Yeah.
And, he's a good guy, and that certainly reflects in my knowing you for over 20 years now. So.
Yeah, and it has an impact on me just seeing all the pictures that you're in with my sisters, my parents, and then me in the bed, and that just meant so much to me that you came there just to support me.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, since we talked about Sergeant Major, he was also we both played wide receiver, defensive back, and Sergeant Major was our position coach.
That's right.
That's right. And since we're talking about football, I did participate in Coach Shelton's lung cancer walk not too long ago. And,
ooh. Oh, that's right.
That was a lot of fun, actually, to participate in. Coach actually asked, hey, let's get some more Vikings out there next year. So, yeah.
How's he doing?
Yeah, I feel. Oh, Coach is doing as energetic as he was when he was coaching us. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a good thing.
I actually
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say his daughters are grown now. One of them's finishing up at South, I believe, and another one's in college.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually have a very negative memory with Coach Shelton.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. And it's actually not his fault. It's not my fault. It's not my mom's fault. Basically, at the beginning of the season, my senior year, which as a freshman, as a sophomore, and as a junior, I started, and I played the entire game, both offense and defense. And then senior year comes, and he becomes the new head coach when you were a junior.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
He looked at, we did a team practice and everything, and he lined us all up, and he looked at us, and he was, okay, all right, okay, this is all I wanted to do. Now I'm going to pick out certain players to just talk to me, come to my office. We're just going to talk and get to know each other. Okay, and so he scheduled a meeting with me. He was like, all right. So I came to his office, and he shook my hand. He's like, hey, Mr. Feldman. I was like, thank you. And he's like, so you want to play wide receiver and safety? I was like, yeah. He goes, well, I'll probably put you on kickoff return. And I was like, excuse me? He goes, well, I'm just going to let you know. And he was totally honest, and he tried to be all energetic with it. He was like, I'm just going to let you know, like, last year, West didn't have a very good year, and this year I'm here to change all that. And so we're going to start winning. And the only way we're going to win games is if we intimidate the other team. And I'm just going to be honest, because you're short, you don't intimidate anybody. You don't intimidate me. And so you're just going to be on the bench. Now, if you want to quit football, I don't care, because I'm here to win. So, but if you're going to stay on the team, you're going to be on the bench the whole time. And I was like, okay. He goes, now, are you mad at me? And I was like, no. He goes, are you going to stay on the team? I was like, yeah. He goes, well, all right, if that works for you. So we shook hands, went away, and, of course, I busted my butt. We busted our butt in practice all the time, and I did. And, yet, for the first actually, for the whole season, he didn't play me. And what happened to my senior year football team's record? We were 0-9. What was it?
3-6, I think, was our record your senior year. It was 2-7 my senior year the next year, and then
nice.
the year after that, that's when they finally started winning.
Mm-hmm. I actually have the record. My senior class has nothing to be proud of. We were winless. We did not win one single game. And that was because our quarterback, not because of our quarterback, but our quarterback was Zach Richmond, my age, a senior, and we never won one single game with him. And so the last game, and this is hilarious. I love this. This is hilarious. The last game of the season,
either Graham or Majors or heck, even Henri.
Yeah, it was Jamin Graham. Yep, our last game of the season. Coach Shelton, he goes, all right, Jamin, and I think he was a sophomore. He's like, Jamin Graham, I'm going to have you start the game. Zach, you're going to sit out. And he was like, why, Coach? I'm the senior. He goes, yeah, but we haven't won one single game with you being quarterback. I'm going with Jamin. And so Jamin started, and he said in the locker room, this was so awesome. He was like, and where's Feldman? Feldman, are you in here? I can't see you because you're short. Where are you? And so I moved up to the front. He goes, there you are, Feldman. And then he goes, okay, this is our last game. We haven't won one game this entire season, but we got the quarterback out. We got Jamin Graham in. And Jered Feldman, you're going to start, and you're going to play this game. And I was like, no. And everybody, of course, in the locker room was all cheering. I was like, that is so awesome. We drive all the way. Remember driving all the way to Blue Valley, the big stadium, the brand new stadium, because Blue Valley Northwest was their first year playing, and they were undefeated, and we were winless, and we played them and we beat them. We were their first loss, and I have the paper, I have the article and everything, and I was like, oh my gosh, the game that I finally got to play my senior year, we won, we beat them and everything, and I I remember I caught 2 passes that Jamin threw to me, and Jamin kept saying in the huddle, he was like, okay, little Feldman, I'm going to throw the ball to you because you're fast and I know you got good hands, so just catch it. I was like, okay. He threw 2 passes to me, and I caught both of them.
Cool. Cool.
That was the best memory I will always have of West football.
All right. Awesome. Yeah. Dr. Graham now, he recently got his MD. I was going to say
really?
PhD, but he got an MD recently, yeah. Yeah, he didn't last too long as the starting quarterback my senior year because he would have been my senior quarterback. And he got benched early on in favor of Majors.
Oh, yeah. I could say, yeah.
Yeah, and to his credit, Majors stuck with it. He was even the head coach at North for a little bit.
Are you serious?
Wow,
good for Ryan.
Yeah. And Henri was one of his assistants at North at the time. So.
That is so awesome.
In fact, since I mentioned Mr. Childs, I think he was the only one from our combined team to go pro.
Henri, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, he went undrafted in the NFL and then wound up playing the Canadian League for a while. So,
nice.
And for our folks listening at home, Henri Childs, his father was the recently departed Henry Childs, who was a tight end in the NFL, mostly for the Saints. So,
oh.
Yeah.
My condolences to Henry.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was a couple of years ago that he passed too. So, yep. So let's go and shift gears again and talk about Coach Campbell's geometry class. Because that's where we first met. Was yeah. Beam, golly. Quit cheating. Yeah. Yeah, those
he was
were
like
times.
the funnest teacher. Cause I know. And he was so tall and just, he was energetic also. And and see, I was a sophomore.
Yeah, you were a sophomore. I was a freshman in that class. So.
Yep.
Fun times.
Did I ever tell you the story with Coach Campbell and what he said to me?
No, I did not.
Oh boy, yeah, here we go again. Basically, it was almost like so this is my sophomore year, and then Coach Shelton said all of his stuff with me with football my senior year. Well, Coach Campbell, my sophomore year, I played basketball, and I did so awesome. But it was at the end of my sophomore year when basketball season is over, and my sophomore season of basketball went well. I was like one of the leading scorers for the sophomore team. But he told me, I think in April, he was like, hey, so Feldman, like, you did really good for Coach. Who was the sophomore coach? Anyways, he goes, you did really good for the sophomore team. But I'm just gonna let you know, don't try out for the JV team because you're not gonna make it. And I said, excuse me, Coach Campbell. He goes, well, I'm just gonna be honest with you. You're short, and I want tall players for the basketball team if they're gonna be playing JV or varsity. And so you'll never make varsity, and you might make JV, but I wouldn't even try because you're just short. I was like, are you serious, Coach Campbell? He goes, yeah. But you still got a great attitude, and if you ever want to come and visit me because you did really good in geometry, you could do that. And I was like, no, forget you. What is wrong with you? And I couldn't stand him. I always avoided him for the rest of my junior year and senior year because I was like, I'm not. You're gonna cut me from the JV team just because I'm short. And so, boy, did I prove myself. But still, it shouldn't be about that. He was a great man, a great coach, and the class was fun. And I don't know if you knew this, but I got 100% on my geometry final.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Yep. Yeah, the one thing that this has been coming up lately, at least in my thoughts, there was one gal, at least one gal in that class that I had a suspicion that she kind of liked me or something. We're not going to name names here, but I think you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah. Did you move on that suspicion?
No, I did not.
You didn't make any accusations.
Yeah. Well, at least that freshman year, I really didn't do anything about it and everything. And count that as one of my misses, shall we say. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of many.
Was there anything else you liked about Campbell's class?
I think that's pretty much all we need to know about Campbell's class.
Oh boy.
Yeah. But yeah. So I guess nowadays, yeah, you just had a child recently, right? So.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Excellent.
Just had a beautiful little girl.
Yep. No kids, but I'm an uncle of 3.
Yeah. You're an uncle?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they're all from my brother, who I don't think you got a chance to meet him because he was a freshman shortly after you graduated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And he did ROTC 3 years.
Did he? Good for him.
Yeah, freshman year he didn't
That's
do
awesome.
it, and then sophomore year he picked it up, and yeah. Yeah, the oldest of them is 7 now, and is one of the first girls in Cub Scouts.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah, we're me and my wife are considering maybe putting Brianna in Cub Scouts or whatever Scouts it is, Girl Scouts. Just don't know yet.
Well, I think you have time to make that decision. So.
Plenty of time.
Yeah. But yeah, no kids on my end, and still very much single. So.
Yeah.
Do
you go clubbing?
Yeah. No, I don't. I'm at the age that I'll go to work and just feel tired and want to go home afterwards. Yeah. And as for the clubbing thing, well, I did work security in clubs, and as fun as that was, I don't think I could do it anymore. So.
Really? Because I was going to say that sounds like a great profession.
Yeah, but it really messes with your sleep schedule. I mean, especially if you're working the 11 to 7 shift.
Oh, yeah.
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 So
did you have any
conflict
whenever you did?
Did I have a conflict? The biggest conflict was just being able to. It really messes with you physically. So, everyone else is working, I'm sleeping. When everyone else is out and about or sleeping themselves, that's when I've been working. So, you can imagine a 2.5-year span. Sleeping at night, sleeping during the day, and then at night either working or just driving to all the posts that we have, make sure everything's all right, and then dinner would always be Denny's or something.
Yep.
Because that sort of work does mess with you.
Yeah, it sure is.
And we got 4 minutes left, so I think we'll finish just talking about creativity, because I think we're both exploring said creativity nowadays in different forms, of course.
Yes.
All right.
So what do you do for like pastimes? Actually,
for pastimes,
of course, watch football.
Not so much anymore.
Oh, really?
Certainly not the last few years, yeah. And because I was a Ram fan out of St. Louis.
Really?
So, yeah.
Yeah. You didn't stop liking the Rams, though, did you?
Yeah, I did. The second they were whisked out of St. Louis, that's when I stopped liking them.
Yeah.
And I'm having more fun, and I've said this before on this podcast, having more fun watching the legal stuff happen in that regard. So.
Mm-hmm. So have you made many trips to St. Louis lately?
The last trip I went to St. Louis was actually last year, and got to see the St. Louis Chess Club, which is a very nice setup, especially compared to what we have here in Kansas City.
Really?
Yeah. And the difference, of course, billionaire backer in St. Louis, retired teacher here in KC. So, yeah.
Did you take the Amtrak to St. Louis?
I have taken the Amtrak to St. Louis. The last time I took the Amtrak would have been 2010, just after my mom died.
Yeah.
That's her last birthday gift to me, was to see the Rams play the Chiefs actually at the Dome.
Oh my gosh, that is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Did they beat the Chiefs?
No, they did not.
Oh.
Back to yeah, this would have been during that infamous 15 and 65 that we all talking about. In fact, I went to 3 games at that Dome, and all of them were Ram losses. So.
Oh man.
Yeah. Okay, so I just received the warning bell. I think I'll go ahead and let you go, but thanks for coming on, and you're welcome to come back at any time.
Anytime, man. Thank you. It was a pleasure. This was awesome.
Yeah, thanks. I had a good time, too. So.
You're welcome. Great to hear your voice, Mike.
Yeah, I'll talk to you later.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
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 So a big thank you to Jered for agreeing to be on the podcast today. Here's some ways that you can help with the podcast. Tell your friends about it. Subscribe to the podcast. We're on pretty much every podcast platform now. Like us on Facebook. Check out our blog, uncalledfor.home.blog. And if you feel up to it, we have a Patreon as well. Patreon.com/Mike Chernevsky. MikeCCERNIEWSKI, all one word. So with all that out of the way, thank you so much for listening. We'll talk to you next time. And once again, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays. Special thanks to Blog Talk Radio for facilitating today's phone recording. This podcast is Uncalled For. It is hosted, produced, and edited by myself, Mike Chernevsky. Opening music is Fantasia by Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com. Licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 4.0 license. Outro music is Road Trip CB37 by Checky Brown. Licensed under Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives 4.0 license. Additional music included Morocco Sting by Kevin MacLeod and Incompetech.com. Licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 4.0 license.
If you would like to support this podcast or any of Mike's other creative endeavors, please consider making a donation at patreon.com/Mike Chernevsky. That's MikeCezzerniewski. Donations over $5 will receive a special thanks on a future podcast. Thank you so much for listening. We will see you next time.